Real quickly before we begin, I want to thank this video's sponsor, CarMarshal.com. CarMarshal.com can save you lots of money on buying used or new vehicles, cars, trucks, school buses. If you want to save money, I'll have a link in the description down below. I know I'm going to...
Ted Visner. Yesterday at 1:29 p.m. Barry Gatsa of the local narcotics task force called Bayonet lied by omission in his sworn affidavit of truth, making the government's affidavit in application of a warrant false. Mr. Gatsa's lies, by his intentional omission of key facts, allowed him to get exactly what he wanted. I am not a criminal, so to make me a criminal things must be modified through intentional misrepresentation. Mr. Gatsa's false affidavit states a claim under oath that he and two other detectives approached me with only cash to buy drugs, as if cash and drugs were the only requirements of the reported transactions. The false affidavit creates and fosters the misrepresentation that the only requirement for the police to acquire medical marijuana from me was cash. First, I don't sell drugs to anyone. Second, cash is only a fraction of the requirements Gatsa, Hughes, and Ken had to meet before I could lawfully charge them money for having assisted them as a service in the medical use of marijuana. Had Gatsa and his crew not produced all of the other requirements asked of them, they would have been asked politely to leave my property no matter how much cash they presented. Our Michigan Medical Marijuana Act makes it legal to charge money for the associated costs related to assisting registered qualifying patients in the medical use of marijuana in its Section F. Section F is in the MMMA so that the federal government knows that the state has not authorized the people of Michigan to commit what is still a federal felony crime. Because of the way that the MMMA describes the way that money can change hands lawfully for the associated costs rather than for the purchase of a product, the items actually sold are the associated costs and specifically not marijuana. Here is Section F. F. A registered primary caregiver may receive compensation for costs associated with assisting a registered qualifying patient in the medical use of marijuana. Any such compensation does not constitute the sale of controlled substances. I charged Hughes and Ken of Gatsa's team for having carded them, but the things I actually charged them for were not at all for medical marijuana as a product, but for the associated costs, which include my labor for having to check their IDs and MMP credentials. Gatsa's affidavit claims that he and his men came here with cash to buy illicit drugs, but what really happened was altogether different. Gatsa and his men came to me and were charged by me to assist them in the medical use of marijuana as a service charge. These men were not charged money for marijuana but for the costs associated for assisting registered qualifying patients in the medical use of marijuana. If I wanted to sell drugs illicitly and outside of the law, I would not have become licensed by the state of Michigan as a medical marijuana caregiver/practitioner. If I wanted to sell drugs illegally, I would not have published my services on Weed Maps so that registered qualifying patients could seek and find the services they need and that I had to offer. When Gatsa/government intentionally omitted the fact that there were many more requirements of him and his team, he effectually converted the transaction from something lawful into something illegal. The intentional conversion of something lawful into something illegal was how Gatsa was able to obtain the no-knock warrant he wanted using his knowingly false affidavit. Additionally, Gatsa's intentional omissions in his sworn affidavit serves to conceal the fact that Gatsa and his team had used fake medical marijuana cards to acquire controlled substances by misrepresentation, fraud, forgery, deception, and subterfuge in violation of Michigan law found in MCL 333.7407 and quoted below in pertinent part. Public Health Code, Excerpt. Act 368 of 1978. 333.7407 Prohibited conduct, violation as felony, penalty. Sector 7407. 1. A person shall not knowingly or intentionally c. Acquire or obtain possession of a controlled substance by misrepresentation, fraud, forgery, deception, or subterfuge. 3. A person who violates this section is guilty of a felony, punishable by imprisonment for not more than 4 years, or a fine of not more than $30,000, or both. Unfortunately for Gatsa and his men, they all admitted and confessed to having committed their felony crimes in cross-examination under oath in my cases numbered 17 to 10,629, 17 to 10,630, 17 to 10,631 and 17 to 10,632 on the dates of October 26, November 2, and I believe also November 16, 2017.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I just wanted you to know that I am using this stuff under fair use. And also remember to like and subscribe this channel. Also too, keep in mind I do not make any money on YouTube. This is 5 hours work a day, you know, fighting for freedom. And you can donate with PayPal and Patreon. I just want you to think about this. If everybody gives to PayPal and Patreon, Patreon is every month. Actually, PayPal you can do every month. I have 12,000 subscribers. If everybody gives, I can quit my regular job and go full-time investigations on Charlotte County and possibly even more and beyond. So just keep that in mind. If everybody helps out, I can go full-time doing this. Thanks.